Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu wa Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilman warzuqni fahman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So in this lesson we will look at the different letters, its proper pronunciation, and also the long vowels from the Quran Kareem itself, using the standard reference or standard references in terms of recitation. And this will allow you hopefully to optimize your pronunciation and your articulation of those letters that we have studied so far. And hopefully you also get familiar with reciting the Quran Kareem as well. Now, with respect to the Quran versus regular modern standard Arabic, the Quran itself has some important rules which are specific to it. Of course, each letter, with the makhraj, we're talking about the different characteristic of the letter, is unique to Arabic, not just the Quran. Okay, because the Quran, of course, it's an Arabic Quran. For example, we talked about the ghunna. The ghunna is specific to the Quran and really is not utilized and when we speak regular Arabic. So there's certain rules of the Quran in terms of recitation which are only specific to it, like for example the mad. So let's now see some examples from the Quran Al-Kareem to further polish the rules that we have discussed and take our pronunciation and our phonetics to the next level. Again, we'll be using the textbook examples from the recitation for the famous Qurra, and inshallah this will be very useful. So Surah Kawthar.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Basmallah. The letters which we study so far are the Sin, the Ra. Okay, the Ra I think is important here, where we see that both these times that the Ra is heavy. It is heavy. So let's just one more time. Just focus on the Ra. Okay, the Sin is I think pretty obvious. It's relatively easy as long as the makhraj point is okay. The tongue to the touching the lower teeth, bis, that's not too difficult. But the Ra is one of the more difficult letters to master. Just needs some practice. So let's just look at, and the one thing we see here is it has a shadda, which we'll look at later. It's like a double. It connects the letter before it. But that's another topic which we're going to discuss in the future.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Let's look at the first ayah of Al-Kawthar, and we have three reciters. The first one is Abdullah Basfar. Second one is Sheikh Husari, and the next one and the last one is Sheikh Shuraim. And I just wanted to put that there because his recitation is more of a faster pace, and I want you to realize that when you're reciting on a more fast pace or when you're listening, then you're going to have to change the duration of the vowels appropriately, because remember we're looking at also each letter has a vowel. Sometimes it could be short, sometimes it's going to be long. Okay, and you're going to have to vary it depending on the pace of your recitation. So if you're going to be reciting relatively fast, then the short vowels are not going to be 1 second. It'll be less than 1 second, perhaps 0.5 seconds, etc., depending on the proportion of your rate of speed. So similarly, and again, as I said, the preferable mode is to recite slowly. However, that's not always possible. It is not always possible. And it's okay, it's mubah, inshallah, that you recite fast, but of course for the beginner we highly encourage you, and I don't think it's going to be possible to recite fast unless you know the Arabic properly. So that's why we have Sheikh Shuraim as a good example, excellent reciter again. nothing to put down as recitation, but it just, this recitation is a more faster pace, and you'll see that the duration of the vowel pronunciations, long vowels, are decreased in proportion to the recitation. But it's also important for the listener to appreciate that, okay? Because all these recitations are proper, but I think it's important just to sort of get a little bit of a variance. So, Bismillah.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
So here just we have the noon which we discussed. Again, the noon here, إنا أعطيناك الكوثر. So here we have a long vowel, and كوثر, the ra. Okay, now Sheikh Khosari.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
So here we see again the same ayah being recited. His recitation is a little bit more on the slower pace, but alhamdulillah, it's in the standard reference, as I mentioned to you before, considered by many.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
So here we saw that Sheikh Shuraim, he recited this more faster. Nonetheless, you should have realized that the short vowels were much abridged. So let's go to the next one. Again, we are focusing on the noon and the ra here. Noon and the ra.
فصل لربك وانحر.
Here we have the ra, which is heavy. The noon is pronounced here. And here the noon does not have the gunna. The noon doesn't have the prolonged nasal sound, because even though it has the sukoon, this is another symbol for sukoon right here. You can have the circle or you can have the semicircle. So you don't say one har, no, you say one har. Okay, and you have the ra, of course, which is heavy. Okay, Sheikh Khosari.
فصل لربك وانحر.
Okay,
فصل لربك وانحر.
let's go forward. Again, the noon and the ra.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
Again, the noon. شانئك ni هو الأبتر. Okay, tar, tar. Again, not rolling the ra. Abtar, abtar. No, abtar.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
Here this is inna. Here this is inna. Again, subtle but important difference. Here, let me show you.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
And again,
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
so this is very important. Here we see the Sheikh, he did not prolong the alif. It is just a single fatha. Makes a huge difference. We have to be very careful with the na and the na, because it makes a difference in terms of the meaning. So let's go forward, and Sheikh Shuraim.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
And let's compare it with the other.
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
Now, here one may not recognize, or it may be a little more difficult to recognize that the Sheikh is prolonged here, the long alif, but he has, because of the rate of speed. Okay, because of the rate of speed. Again,
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر.
verses.
إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
So here clearly, long vowel alif is prolonged, but it's not 2 seconds. It's maybe 1 second at most. And here the short vowel fatha is less than 1 second, perhaps 0.5 seconds. So hope to get that point across. That's important. Let's go forward. Surah Kafirun. And here basically again we're going to just review some of the other letters in the pronunciation.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
Again, the ra and the noon. Kafirun. Kafirun. The long vowel, wow. We don't say kafirun. We say kafirun. Oon. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And also you have the alif here, ka. This alif right here, the short alif, is essentially, this is a special style, the mushaf. This short alif really in Arabic would be like this. Like this. It would be but this is a special case in the Mus'haf where it's not written like that. It's written like this. Okay, so just bear that in mind. This short alif, you're going to see very, like over here, this is represents a long vowel alif. Same thing for the Bismillah here. You have this little long vowel alif. This is basically Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Rahman, you don't have the alif connected, but you have this alif here like this. And this is a special characteristic of the Mus'haf, which is beyond discussion in this course, but you're going to see this frequently in the Quran al-Kareem. But in Arabic, in modern standard Arabic, you will not typically see this symbol, but it's equal to the long vowel alif.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
قل يا أيها الكافرون.
Okay, so here again, long vowel alif, long vowel vav, and the noon, and of course the ra, the heavy ra. Let's go forward.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
Here I want you to see the difference again between the short and the long vowel. You have here, you have the dal. We study, of course, that I a'budu. But here we have a vowel after the dal. Okay, and we see that there's prolongation of the vowel sound. Okay, let's see that here again.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
It would be incorrect to say, for example, it would be incorrect for me to say لا أعبد ما تعبدون. Did you notice what I said? I basically stretched the dal dhamma. It should have been لا أعبد ما تعبدون, but instead I said لا أعبد ما تعبدون. So you cannot stretch this beyond the 1 second mark, or depending on the rate of your recitation. It should be slow measured, but this should be أعبد or أعبد. Okay, depending on, again, the your pace of recitation. Okay, and Sheikh Shuraim.
لا أعبد ما تعبدون.
So here you would notice that he, compared to the أعبد, ta'budun was longer. The dhamma waw, the long vowel alif, was longer and stretched twice as much as the dal dhamma. Okay, let's go forward.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
So here again we see the long vowel alif. We again see this alif here, even though we didn't say the ayn. Ma, again another one, and then here you have the single fatha sound, a. Right, a. There's also the sound of the dal, appropriate sound of the dal as well, that we have studied as well. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. And Sheikh Shuraim.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Okay, so you notice that his pace is faster, and the prolongation of the long vowel is no more than 1 second, which is appropriate though in this case. And then
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
so here we have the noon. First we have the long vowel alif again. Wala ana. Okay, ana. Noon. This is noon fatha. Here, this alif is not elongated and there's a sukun on that. You have the dal, which is here, and ma'abattum. There's actually a sukun here on the dal, which is connected to. Actually, the dal is sort of merged with this ta, but that's a point beyond this topic. Sheikh Shuraim.
ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم.
To finish off Surah Kafirun. Here we have again long vowel alif. We have here the noon, and noon actually here has a sukun which we do not see here, which happens frequently even in the Quran. So you're not necessarily going to have all the minor low tashkil on every letter, but it's understood because there's no vowel on it. And here we have prolongation of the noon, gunna, okay, gunna sound. Here we have again the dal with the long vowel vaw, the noon, fatha, and the dal. Here the dal, notice that even though this has a dam on it, it has what? What's the actual functional sign on the dal? It is the sukun because there's a stop there. Let's listen to the recitation again.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
Here, ولا أنتم, ولا أنتم. So an is, the noon is prolonged for a couple of seconds. This is the gunna sound. And then you have a'bud, right? The qalqala is manifested here.
ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد.
And then you have Sheikh Shuraim, of course. Okay? And final ayah.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
So here we have dal, kasra, ya. So there's the long vowel ya. Deenu, deenukum, deenukum. Waliyadeen. So here there's a kasra here, but remember it's not, if you look at it, it's not prolonged. Okay? And yadeen. And you don't say yadini, you say yadeen. Because at the end of this ayah, because we're stopping here or pausing, because of a pause, we do not pronounce the vowel on the last letter. That is not done in Arabic. But if you were to continue, if there's another ayah afterwards, you could say waliyadini and go forward. Okay. Like for example, it's allowed for me to say وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. That's okay. But most of the time this is what's done as the follows. وَلَا أَنْتُمْ عَابِدُونَ مَا أَعْبُدُ. So here you would have I'm pronouncing it so that there's a stop right here, and thus the dal takes on the sukun. And Sheikh Shuraim.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
So here we saw many of the rules being shown here that we've studied, and also the pronunciation of those letters as well. Let's go forward. Let's look at the scene. Surah Isra.
إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم.
So here, actually, even though we're looking at the scene, but also this is excellent for a view of the noon. The noon. So we have this noon here, noon sukoon. This is also noon sukoon. This is also noon sukoon, and this is also noon sukoon. Listen to the noon again one more time.
إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم.
You would see that the noon here, you don't have the prolonged gunnasan, but here you do, and also here. That happens. Why? Well, it depends on the letter after it. Okay, so just bear in mind that sometimes you will have that prolonged gunna sound. Like here you say, in ahsantum. You don't say in ahsantum. In ahsantum. So you have in. You don't have the prolongation of the nasal sound, but here you do. Ahsantum. 2 seconds. So this is the scene. Ahsantum. Sa. Sa. Si. Sa. Sa. Si. Pretty obvious.
إن أحسنتم أحسنتم لأنفسكم.
So this is Sheikh Shuraim. Let's go forward.
وإن أسأتم فلها.
Sa. Scene.
وإن أسأتم فلها.
Okay, as you see that his recitation is almost twice as fast as Sheikh Basfar. And then the last part of the ayah. And I'm going to just highlight where we see the scene.
فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة ليسوءوا وجوهكم وليدخلوا المسجد كما دخلوه أول مرة وليتبروا ما علوا تتبيرا.
Okay, so we see here فإذا long vowel alif, ja long vowel, you have wa'du, dal, dhamma, and ra, wa'dul akhirah, ra, liyasu'u. Okay, su, the long vowel, wow, long vowel, wow here too. Masjid, masjida, masjida. Okay, you don't prolong it, but just masjida. Seen, sukoon. And
فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة ليسوءوا وجوهكم وليدخلوا المسجد كما دخلوه أول مرة وليتبروا ما علوا تتبيرا.
let's go forward and look at the dal. Again, the basmala.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Here is again a prime example of dal with qalqala. And we see the vibration at the end. Okay. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Right? أَحَدٌ. الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد. Okay, so here we see the qalqala. Again, you hear the same with Sheikh Shuraim.
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
This is pretty straightforward. We discussed this at depth. Okay, let's go forward. And now the raw.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
So here we have the raw here. Ikra, ikra, the raw, the heavy raw. And also a nice example of the seen and its high pitched sound. Bismi, bismi. Rabb, rabbika alladhi khalaq. So raw again, heavy raw.
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
The next ayah.
خلق الإنسان من علق.
Here we see a nice example of the noon with gunna, gunna. And here without gunna. Take a listen again.
خلق الإنسان من علق.
Do you see that the last noon does not have any prolongation? This noon does. You have the seen with a long vowel. The seen is long vowel. The next one.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم.
Again.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم.
The raw, the heavy raw. Okay. Okay. So we looked at, alhamdulillah, many of the rules through these beautiful Quranic ayat and the beautiful recitations. Again, textbook examples of how these different letters and vowels should be pronounced. May Allah inshallah give us benefit. Allahumma alimna ma yanfa'ana wanfa'na bima lamtana. With this we will conclude, and we look forward to having you in our next session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.